All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Wes here. Today we have some news to talk about regarding Spider-Man 2, the sequel to one of the best Spider-Man games ever created. Well, we got some rather sad news that the voice actor who played Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 1 will be replaced in this new game. Along with that, Insomniac speaks out regarding the reveal of Spider-Man 2. I'm also going to be talking about some story and plot details, as it's looking like a few big twists might be happening. And with the Game Awards coming very soon, as well as the potential PlayStation State of Play happening, this has fans asking, will we see a Spider-Man 2 trailer during the Game Awards or during the highly rumored PlayStation Showcase that might be happening before the end of 2022? So I'll be talking about that, as well as everything new that you need to know about Marvel's Spider-Man 2, including the latest news, leaks, and rumors, as well as some features that I'd like to see in the upcoming game. So definitely stick around until the end of the video because you guys do not want to miss it. Real quick, guys, if you want a chance to win a PlayStation 5 and a copy of Hogwarts Legacy or Spider-Man 2, or just a game of your choice, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, follow me on Twitter, and tweet me proof that you're subscribed by tagging my Twitter handle at WesNemo. The winner will be announced at 80,000 subscribers, and I will not be reaching out via comments. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is one of the most anticipated games that will be releasing to PS5 in 2023. Now, with that comes a lot of changes for the better, like graphics, overall gameplay mechanics, and even big change-ups happen with the cast. For instance, John Bubniak getting replaced by Ben Jordan, but it's looking like we've got a repeat of that situation, as one of the voice actors used in the 2018 Spider-Man game, Scott Porter, who voiced the character Harry Osborn, is reportedly not going to be the voice behind Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 2. Now, like I said, while this isn't something we haven't seen done before by Insomniac Games, like when they made the decision to change the face of Peter Parker in the remastered game, that was also the same version that was released to PC. Now, while this is not a major change, it will definitely have an impact on some of the player's experience, especially whenever you consider Harry Osborn's role in the sequel. Now, before we talk about the deleted tweet from the voice actor Scott Porter, I'd like to thank Gungrave Gore for sponsoring this video. The new third-person action-packed shooter is now available on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox Game Pass. If you guys like fun shooters as well as anime, I strongly recommend Gungrave Gore. I left a link below if you guys would like to buy it now. You could also download it on Game Pass, like I said. Be sure to tweet me a picture if you end up picking it up, and I will follow you back on Twitter. Now, the news of the voice actor shakeup comes from a now deleted tweet from Scott Porter, who played Harry Osborn, that states, and I quote, "While I voiced Harry in the first Spider-Man game, I unfortunately will not be in the sequel. They decided to go photoreal, and the difference between me and Harry's ages was just too much to overcome, I believe. I was bummed out, but I get it. Gonna be an incredible game." For those of you who aren't familiar with who Scott Porter is, he is the current voice actor for The Flash in the animated series Harley Quinn, and let's be honest, what you guys all most likely know him from was the most recent release of God of War Ragnarok. He was the voice of Heimdall. Now, what makes this news all really interesting is that Yuri Lowenthal, who voiced Peter Parker in 2018 Spider-Man, will also be returning as the voice for Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2. Now, this is interesting because the new character model for Peter Parker is 28-year-old Ben Jordan, and Lowenthal is 51 years old. Granted, he doesn't really sound like it, so clearly age doesn't matter when it comes to actors and their characters. With not even seeing Harry in the first game, apart from the pictures, there's not really much of a reason for him not to come back in the second game. However, I'm sure it's a lot easier and it makes more sense to have the voice actor closely resemble how the character of Harry Osborn will look in the next game, as I'm sure it'll make Harry look and sound a lot better and more realistic. So honestly, anything to make a better game, as long as they picked a great actor to play Harry Osborn, then I'm not worried about it at all. Scott Porter has got a laundry list of things that he could be working on, and it sounds like he's hyped for the game to release regardless. Moving right along, we've got some reveal news to talk about regarding Spider-Man 2, and this news is actually coming from Insomniac's Twitter account. They recently posted a picture of Miles Morales swinging through the city in an ultra-wide shot with the caption #MilesMoralesPC, and ultra-wide is just perfect. Now, with most tweets that are posted by Insomniac Games, a user responded to the Insomniac Twitter stating, "Market Marvel's Spider-Man 2." Now, this of course sparked a response from Insomniac Games Twitter account stating, "We'll show it when we feel the time is right. The community deserves to see it the right way, not rushing news for the sake of rushing it." Insomniac Games totally understands the community is just itching to get some more information on the game, but it probably does get annoying having to answer the same question so often. But this is just showing us that Insomniac does hear us, and they know that we want to see more trailers and have more information about the game. And honestly, I support them when they say they will show us when the time is ready and when they think the game is ready to be shown. I'd much rather see something that is amazing, that's really going to be jaw-dropping, rather than something that's just rushed out and thrown at us, especially after all of the time and anticipation that's built up, especially after all of this time that we've been waiting, all of the anticipation anticipation that's built up, just waiting for something to drop from the company. And whenever it does drop, it is something that will collectively blow all of our minds. And that's all that we can really ask for. In some ways, I want to kind of just forget about Spider-Man 2 and then just blip back to reality whenever the game drops. Now, with this information in mind, it could be that Spider-Man 2 is closer than we think to being revealed. We've got the highly rumored PlayStation showcase that doesn't have a release date, and honestly, I don't even know if there will be, but there's also an event that's coming very soon that has a lot of fans on Twitter thinking that this could be where we get the next trailer for Spider-Man 2. Obviously, it's a stretch, but the Game Awards 2022 will be taking place on December 8th, and if Insomniac has something hidden up their sleeves to show us anytime soon, this would be the event to do it. While the Game Awards gives out awards to games from the current year, it also covers a wide range of games coming out in the following year, with Spider-Man 2 being one of the most anticipated AAA titles coming out. There has got to be at least a mention of the game, if it's not just the category that they're currently nominated in. If we do see Spider-Man 2 next week, it will likely be in the form of more gameplay, likely another story teaser to get us hyped. I doubt we're going to get a release date in this event, as I'm sure they'll be saving that for next year sometime during a proper PlayStation showcase that will likely give us the actual full release date rather than the soft release date that we have right now, which is likely the middle of 2023, but at bare minimum just sometime next year. Whenever the official announcement for Spider-Man 2 was released, it fueled the fan-driven theories on what we could see come out of the next game regarding Venom and the symbiote. This mainly comes from the Norman and Harry Osborn centric scene that we saw at the end of the original game. It leads me to the idea that Peter would sacrifice himself by becoming the new host of the symbiote instead to save Harry's life. In Spider-Man 2018, Peter maintains the research stations and different side missions in honor of Harry's humanitarian efforts. We only heard of Harry a few times in passing throughout the game, and we never really saw Harry, only pictures of him. At the end of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson believed that Harry was just backpacking across Europe, only to discover that it was all a ruse to hide the neurodegenerative disease that Harry inherited from his mother. We found out that Harry's condition left him terminally ill, which led Norman to submerge Harry in a stasis tank to buy himself a little bit more time to try to find a cure. While Devil's Breath, the serum that wreaked havoc in Marvel's Spider-Man, won't cure Harry of his disease, the second post-credits scene suggests that Norman either developed or found the symbiote that may work a little too well in saving Harry. This treatment could very well be the thing that turns Harry into Spider-Man 2's Venom, which will likely end up being the case. We could also see Peter Parker getting a new black suit in the upcoming game, with the confirmation of Kraven the Hunter being confirmed, and with a Venom-infected Harry Osborn on the loose, it's not completely out of the question for Kraven to set his sights on him. Now, the way that Peter Parker could potentially get the said black suit is that if Kraven gives chase to Harry, Peter intervenes to save his friend, which in turn would allow him to bond with the symbiote to combat the villain in his best friend's stead. Now, obviously, we did not get a black suit costume or the symbiote Peter Parker DLC in the first game, which I was particularly upset about. So hopefully in Spider-Man 2, we will get that in the upcoming game, especially with Venom being a prominent role in the new game. I think it's just kind of obvious at this point. I think it would also be fitting to have a Bully Maguire arc in this game as well, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, with the theory of Harry being Venom in the next game, everything all kind of points to it. Peter Parker could be getting a different symbiote in the form of Carnage. In the second season of the animated Ultimate Spider-Man series, Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, kidnaps Peter Parker to transform him into the ideal son. Green Goblin then injects Peter with what he refers to as an old family recipe, or as we know it as the symbiote. The parasite then skips past Venom and instead morphs its unwilling bonding mate into Ultimate Spider-Man's first Carnage. Marvel Spider-Man 2 could very well pursue a similar story arc, especially with respect to Carnage debut and the Sony Insomniac Spider-Verse. Now, if Peter ends up transforming into Carnage, fans would be kind of robbed of a story-driven black suit reveal. However, the suit could still enter the mix in a different way. There's got to be a reason why the suit was excluded from the first game. Let's just hope it was intentional and it's being held off until the right time. Now, in regards to the two protagonists we will have in the upcoming game, Peter and Miles, it's very clear that they will unite and fight off villains together, but how are they going to do that? There are a few ways that we could see this happen, or Insomniac could have something even better planned out. The first way we could see this amazing duo fight in the next game is in the choose your own hero route. Games that utilize this start you off with two or more protagonists to go through the entirety of the game. In Spider-Man, we could see this as going through the game as either Peter or Miles, or end up overlapping and finding each other throughout the story, or fighting side by side throughout the whole game. There could even be an instance where the two fight each other. Given that the symbiote theory is going around, that could become a thing. This style of system is typically used to encourage multiple playthroughs and explore different endings that may be planned. Both protagonists could have their own story altogether. For example, if you you choose Peter, a bulk of your campaign may be focused on Green Goblin, while if you choose Miles, you could be the one to directly encounter Venom. There are so many routes that could be explored if this system is used. It would also make for a very interesting gameplay experience to see the world unfold from two very different points of view. Now, the second route that we could see being used simply would be a separate segment system. Now, this system, you would either start off with using either Peter or Miles. You'd have to go through the campaign for a bit until the time in the story where you could be put in Miles' shoes to continue on his front. This system allows the developers to have full control on what you see and make sure you see it. It's more than likely that this is the system and route that we're going to go because it's very similar to how the first game was done. The biggest downside of a system like that is you typically cannot switch between characters at your own free will, making you locked in until you get to the next segment as your preferred character. Some fans may have an issue for this, but it will overall help deliver an amazing experience. Now, the final option would be a location-based storytelling one. We know that Miles has his home base in Harlem, while Peter covers some of the larger areas of the city. It's possible that the location is how the two character narratives split. We've seen the system used in games such as GTA 5 and even Ratchet & Clank or Rift Apart. In this system, you could play as either Peter or Miles at will. However, with this, there are typically only missions for that one character. For instance, while playing Peter, there are only missions that will be visible or interactables that can only be accessed by Peter Parker and vice versa. It's currently unclear on what route they're going to be taking for Spider-Man 2. My guess is they will be very similar to the first game with a little bit more missions for Miles, as he is a more prominent character in this story. Next up, one of the things that made Spider-Man PS4 stand apart from other games is the awesome features that we've not really seen done before in any other game. I really want the sequel to take the foundation that they have and build on it to make a better experience. For instance, some of the things that I'm looking forward to are more unique web types, more options for controls whenever you're swinging throughout the city, more really cool gadgets, wall running, as well as wall combat. We are Spider-Man at the end of the day, so wall running as well as wall combat would be something really cool. I'd like to see better random real-time events throughout the game rather than just the crime-related events. One of the things that was lacking with Spider-Man PS4 or remastered was the mini games. I think that makes a Spider-Man game. Moving on, I'd like to see flashbacks. Since Spider-Man Remastered didn't give us a true origin story for Peter Parker and Spider-Man, I'd love to see some callbacks or even maybe some locations we can go to in the game that show off a bit of the backstory. Also, I would love to be able to shoot webs at enemies while swinging. These are just some things I'd love to see added to the game. I'm sure a lot of these are already happening, and it's only a matter of time before we see them in action. I'm also curious what your must-have features are with Spider-Man 2. Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Now, with Spider-Man 2 slowly but surely getting closer to the completion, just to the point of being able to see it over the horizon, current speculation lands at a release date of around September of 2023. This gives us enough time to find a new voice actor for Harry Osborn, even though, let's be honest, there's already one. We just don't know about it at this current time, as well as go through the game and make sure it's as polished as the previous game. Now, there is, of course, the shadow creeping over about what if we don't see Spider-Man at the Game Awards. Well, there are more possibilities to make an appearance, and like I said before, the next one after the Game Awards would have to be the PlayStation Showcase, which, as I said, will likely happen around the first half of 2023. I'm honestly hoping sometime in January or February, but if that doesn't happen, then hopefully by June or July. While it's still very far away, hopefully we get some kind of news for Spider-Man 2 this week, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Well, guys, that is all for this video. I know it was a lot to unpack, but that's all the news we have so far. Let me know down below what features and mechanics are you looking forward to the most in the next game. Also, be sure to take advantage of the PS5 giveaway at the start of the video. Thanks again to Gungrave Gore for sponsoring today's video. The link is in the pinned comment. Thank you all for watching, guys. This has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.